time and soap us down real good, then have us step over into the next tub with about this much good warm water in it and rinse us off as good as she could. And she'd line us up.
Right.
Once a week we'd have a good bath like that. The rest of the time I guess everybody smelled alike and didn't know the difference. This was a sweet little girl. I can't think of her name. June somebody. And I don't know.
That's in Springfield too?
No, this is in Darien.
Okay.
And this girl, I knew her. I think I was in school with her, but I can't think of her name. This little girl, just a little kid. This is Miss Messero's house right here and here. This is me and my friend Frances, that her daddy was so mean to her. We wouldn't let her ever go out. We wouldn't let her go on a date. We'd slip out and have a date lined up for her. Stuff like Miss Messero and her husband, they went from New York to Florida every year. And they were so impressed with the town of Darien. It's beautiful, it's got all the pretty trees and the moss and everything. When they got back to New York, they decided when we retired, we're going to move down there to Darien, and they did. And they had the telephone company was like, this is one block, it was like down here, and on this end of the block was Miss Messero's house. And Daddy just happened, she rented a room out to Daddy. When he was down there, he went down there to do the shrimp hauling and everything, regular trip once a week. Before he moved, about a year or two before he moved us down there. So he stayed with Mrs. Messero, and then after we moved down there, and then wasn't long that we were there that summer. No, I graduated from high school, so it was the year after we had been down there. Bessie, that owned Bessie Jackson, Mary's Uncle Buddy Jackson's aunt, I think.
The summer of 46.
Summer of 46, yeah. Because I graduated from high school then. She came out to the house and she said, there was a guy that rode with Daddy, James Arnold. It seemed like, I don't know, but anyway, he drove on the truck with Daddy. And he had a sister. And the sister worked at the telephone company. And so by that, we'd been down there a year by then because I wasn't working while I was in high school. But Mary did. Mary went to work for him. That's how she met Buddy. Oh, let me get my brain in gear now, son. Wait a minute, give me a minute. What was I saying?
About working for the phone company.
Okay, Bessie, somehow, this girl worked for the phone company too. And she was her brother was on the truck with Daddy. And that's how she found out about us. And Bessie said she'd do anything to keep from working that switchboard. Her husband Dick, they owned the telephone companies in about 4 or 5 surrounding counties. They were very well off, and the one there at Darien was Darien Telephone Company. And Dick Jackson was a woman's son, I think, and she had left that whole telephone company for the whole county to him. And so the girl worked there at the telephone switchboard, and so somehow the word got through. Her brother was driving on the truck with Daddy at the time. So between all of that, I can't get it all figured out right now in my head. But she told them about us. Said these folks had just moved down here in da-da-da. They live right up there on the ridge, and there's 2 girls out there. I do know that. And so she came out there to the house. There wasn't any calling on the phone. We had a phone, but it didn't work. She came out there knocking on the door, and da-da-da, wondered if you girls wanted amounted to. She hired me and Willa Jo. She said, I don't care how y'all do it. And I don't know how we got back and forth. Mama would transport us. But this little woman, Miss Messero, Daddy had a room with her in her home. He rented to her. See, he'd get a load to New York and come back. He had to have a place to stay.
Right. The ridge is what, 2 miles from Darien?
Yeah, about 2.5 miles, I think.
Right.
So Daddy the woman rented a room regular. He rented that room from Miss Messero, was her name. Fine, they were a couple that had come through every year from New York, and they were so fascinated with Darien. It was the most beautiful place from New York to the tip of Florida that they could find. And they moved down there. They were just precious people. Mm-hmm. But they had, in fact, they were still living there, and she rented a room to Willa and I. And Bessie said, I don't care how y'all do it, as long as one of you's covering the switchboard. And so, however we worked out, I don't remember exactly, but we do usually 8 hours, sometimes 12 hours. I have worked up there 2 or 3 days. We had a fold-away bed. We could open it out at night in case somebody called, because it was Hello, give me so and they wouldn't say give me the telephone number. So give me a drugstore, give me the post office, give me the bank, give me so and so. We knew all the phone numbers by heart. I did that for a year at the phone company, and I knew everybody's business. It was one Nina V. MacArthur, I think was the name. No, it wasn't. It wasn't her. She was on this too. But this girl's daddy owned a car dealership, but I don't know which one. And he was very strict on her. Well, she was going with this boy, and the stuff they talked about, and I could listen, and I listened. It was like going to the soap opera every day. Does that tell you anything? I've had some experiences, son. Pretty good, Anna.
Mm.
Oh, me. That's a precious little picture.